Hello, this is Kate with the National Disability Institute. Sorry for the delay, a couple of technical difficulties we were just trying to work out. So go ahead and get started. Again, we went to today's 2012 webinar series, which is sponsored, of course, Bank of America and Walmart. In the webinar, the audio for today's webinar is being broadcast through your computer. Make sure your speakers are turned on and your headphones are plugged in. You can control that audio broadcast via the audio broadcast panel, and if you accidentally happen to close the panel, you can open it from the top menu item by choosing Communicate, Join Audio Broadcast. For listening to the webinar via phone today, and because you don't happen to have sound capabilities or you would choose rather to listen by phone, you do so by listening or by dialing in on 1-877-668-4490. And with us on the WebEx, the use of meeting code is 962-538-924. You do not need an attendee ID to participate. Please, in the lower right-hand side of your screen, we have closed captioning available for participants who are deaf or hard of hearing or English as a second language. You can close this down if you don't want to see this by minimizing that multimedia window, or you can make it even bigger with the closed captioning, closing the windows above it, which is the chat window, the Q&A window, and the panelist window. If there's any technical difficulties throughout the webinar, please use the chat box to send a message to the host, myself, or Tia Matthews. Email nmatthews@ndi-inc.org. We will stay with this till the end. Please use the chat box, though, if you have any questions during the course of the presentation, to send your questions messages to Tia Matthews or myself, Katie Metz, and we direct the questions accordingly at the end of the session. Listening by phone and you're not able to have logged in to the webinar via the internet, you can also send your questions to me by emailing them at kmetz@di-inc.org. The webinar is being recorded, and all the materials will be placed on the National Disability Institute website at www.realeconomicimpact.org. I'm Katie Metz, and I'm a regional specialist with the Real Economic Impact Tour with the National Disability Institute. If you're not familiar with the National Disability Institute, we are a national research and development organization with the mission to promote income preservation and asset development for persons with disabilities, to build an economic future for Americans with disabilities. All of our sponsors with the National Disability Institute's Real Economic Impact Tour, who would not be possible to have webinars such as the one today without their recognition and thanks. Bank of America, of course, IRS, Burton Institute, and the Institute for Economic Empowerment. So again, we thank each and every one of them for their support over the years. Our is Walt Henderson, who is the director of the Go Direct campaign with the U.S. Department of Treasury, and we are so honored and privileged to have Walt with us today. So Walt, with that, if you're available, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you so you can begin with the presentation.
Great. Thanks, Katie. And good afternoon, everyone. Or good morning if you're on the West Coast. First, again, I'd like to thank the National Disability Institute for giving me this opportunity today to talk about the Go Direct campaign. As mentioned, I work for the U.S. Department of the Treasury's Financial Management Service, or we're often known as FMS, or Bureau of the Treasury Department. Just a little background, FMS is the federal government's accountant. We monitor the daily monetary collections and deposit systems, and we oversee cash flow of about $94 billion a day. I work in the payments area, and we work very closely with agencies such as Social Security and the Department of Veterans Affairs to pay out their retirement and disability benefits. Part of my work with FMS, I oversee the Go Direct campaign. For those of you who may not yet be familiar with it, the Go Direct campaign launched nationally in 2005 to encourage Americans receiving their federal benefit payments by paper check to switch to direct deposit. And the campaign has worked with many local, state, and national partner organizations across the country to help inform benefit recipients recipients about the safety and the convenience of receiving their payments electronically. When the the Go Direct campaign launched in 2005, we were still in a voluntary mode. But as of January 2011, we have a new requirement that federal benefit payments be paid electronically, whether it's by direct deposit to someone's bank account or credit union account, or to something we call the Direct Express card that I'll talk about later in the presentation. By March 1st, 2013, all federal benefit check recipients are required to switch to an electronic payment option. And the good news is people are listening to our message. We're down to about 5.5 million paper checks that we send out each month to benefit recipients. Also, anyone newly applying for federal benefit payments must use an electronic payment option from day one. That is, when they go into Social Security or they go into the Department of Veterans Affairs to file their claim for their benefits, when they get to that portion of the claims process that deals with the payment, they have to select direct deposit or the Direct Express card. I'd add, again, with the 5.5 million existing check recipients each month, we're pleased with that number because when we started this initiative back in January 2011, we were at 11 million. So we've basically cut that check volume in half, and we're happy that up to 94% of Social Security recipients, for example, are enjoying the benefits of receiving their payments electronically. Federal benefit payments are impacted. First, we have Social Security. That includes Social Security, the typical age and disability payments, and then the needs-based program, the supplemental security income payment, that category. Veterans payments, these are the veterans compensation and pension payments that are made to former service members. Railroad retirement board payments, payments that are made, annuity payments that are made to retired road workers. Office personnel management payments, these are payments to retired federal employees. And then disability payments such as black lung that are issued out of the Department of Labor. So these are the primary categories of benefit payments impacted by this new requirement. Why are we taking this step now? Electronic payments provide many advantages to federal beneficiaries and ultimately the American people and the taxpayers. First, electronic payments are safe. There's no risk of lost or stolen checks. In fact, last year we had reports of over 440,000 paper Social Security and SSI checks that were reported lost or stolen. And with electronic payments, you simply don't have that problem. And we don't want people that depend on their monthly benefit payments to take a risk with a paper check sitting unattended in a mailbox and subject to someone coming along and taking it. Direct deposit is simply the safest way to go. Secondly, easy. With electronic payments, money goes straight into your bank or credit union account or your Direct Express card account on the payment day each month. There's no need to wait for the mail to arrive and no need to make a trip to the bank or credit union to cash or negotiate the check. Reliable. Money is on time every time. So if you get paid on the 1st or the 3rd or the Wednesday through the month for your Social Security payment, the money is there in your account, the opening of business on that payment date. And again, as I mentioned previously, no trips to the bank, or unless you want to go to the bank. I mean, people get direct deposit and they still go to the bank to conduct their business. That's fine. We're just talking here about the delivery of the benefit payment directly to the account. Find cost effective. Paper checks they're expensive. Infrastructure has to be maintained at the Treasury for printing and mailing those checks and the postage and the materials associated with producing those checks. It's estimated if we're able to switch all of our check payments over to electronic method, it'll save government and ultimately taxpayers $1 billion over 10 years. In these tight budget times, that's simply that's something we need to do. We have two recommended options for electronic payment. First and foremost, if you have an existing account at a bank or credit union, we want people to switch over to direct deposit to that existing account. Or if don't have an account at a financial institution, there are options, and I believe my co-presenter will talk about options that are out there for people to open up bank accounts and enjoy the benefits of savings and direct deposit as well. We also have something called the Direct Express Debit MasterCard. Now, part of this initiative, we, Treasury, are required to make a low-cost account available for federal benefit recipients, and that is in the form of the Direct Express Debit MasterCard. It's a prepaid debit card, very safe and secure, and it allows a person without that traditional bank or credit union account to also enjoy the benefits of direct deposit. We're proud of the card. We have over 3 million cardholders who have signed up and are receiving their payments safely and easily with the card. It has a very high satisfaction rate among cardholders. We do a survey each year, and we find that 95% report that they are satisfied or very satisfied with the card. And 83%, and this is a good number too, say that they are likely to recommend the card to others who are collecting federal benefit payments. So it's a good product. Let me talk a little bit about how the card is structured. There's no application fee. There's no monthly fee. You simply call our 1-800 number or select Direct Express when you're at the federal agency signing up for your benefits. And we'll process the enrollment, and your payments will start going to the card. You get one free ATM withdrawal per month, and after that first ATM withdrawal, each additional in-network ATM withdrawals are 90 cents each. And really, there aren't any other fees associated with the card. There are fees for optional services, such as if you choose not to review your account history online or using the telephone, you can opt for a paper statement at 75 cents a month. The only other fees are associated with replacing lost or stolen cards. You get one free replacement card each year, and after that first one is exhausted, it's $4 for a replacement card. So again, it's a very fee-friendly, consumer-friendly card. It's has what's called Regulation E coverage. It's fully compliant with Regulation E, meaning it has the same consumer safeguards that an account at a financial institution would have. How to use the Direct Express card? You can use it anywhere Debit MasterCard is accepted. You can use just like a debit card that you or I might have associated with our bank or credit union account. You can use it to make purchases wherever Debit MasterCard is accepted, even online. You can retailers when you make your purchases, and often encourage people to get cash back. So perhaps you're in a situation where you've exhausted your one free ATM withdrawal for the month, but you're out shopping at your since Walmart is the sponsor of this, I'll use Walmart as an example. You're shopping at Walmart and you pay for your purchases with the Direct Express card, and then you opt to get cash back with that transaction. So it's no cost for making that purchase and no cost for the cash back. You can pay bills. You can go to a biller's website and pay online, or you can call say it's a utility company, and if that merchant accepts Debit MasterCard, you simply give them the card information and your payment is deducted from your card account. To get free notices, you can sign up to get deposit alerts, text alerts, or phone or email notices when federal deposit is sent to the card account. So that's a great way just to remind you that you have a new payment in the account. please go to our campaign website at, you'll see it there at the top of the screen, www.godirect.org. And on that page, you can follow the links to the Direct Express card, and there's a lot of information there beyond what I'm talking about this afternoon. A lot of frequently asked questions and more information on exactly how the card works. Very extensive frequently asked questions section that deals with enrollment and fees and using the card and accessing customer service. Privacy and legal information, and even international use, as well as the terms and conditions for the card. And I might add on customer service that Direct Express offers access to the customer service system 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as well as reaching a live operator. So that's something that some other card programs don't necessarily offer. Let's talk about, I wanted to talk a little bit about get cash off of your card. Direct Express has an ATM locator, so if you go to the Direct Express website, which is usdirectexpress.com, and you can link there from the GoDirect site, just as I mentioned on the previous slide. There's something called an ATM locator, so you can type in your zip code, and you can pull up all of these surcharge-free ATMs that are within a certain distance of your zip code. And this is important because you have, with ATM surcharges, you have in-network ATMs, and in-network ATMs are the ones whose logo are listed on the slide on the right-hand side of the page. These are over 60,000 ATMs across the country where Comerica Bank, as the issuer of the Direct Express card, has negotiated an agreement with these networks. So you can use Direct Express card at any ATM displaying this logo and avoid a surcharge. So for example, if you were making your first ATM withdrawal as your Social Security payment was applied to your account, you could go to, let's say, a Charter One branded ATM and make a free withdrawal. And if you use that ATM again after you exhausted your one free ATM withdrawal, it would only cost you 90 cents. Now, say out-network ATM, you can use any ATM in the country, but that ATM provider, if it's out of network, it's not displaying one of these logos, there would be an additional fee associated with that transaction. And you would be made fully aware of that additional fee when, before you actually complete the transaction, you're given an opportunity to opt out if you don't want to pay the fee. And I bring this up is because we do have tools available with Direct Express that helps the best way possible to steer people to surcharge-free ATM networks, because that really helps keep the cost associated with an already very low-cost product much lower for the recipients. On the GoDirect website, a lot of general financial education materials that are available. We have videos and flyers available. Talk about how that your money is deposited to your Direct Express or your bank account. How does direct deposit work? That's often a question that we get from people that may be a little hesitant about signing up for electronic payments. So we have graphics, we have little YouTube videos that talk about how the benefit payments are sent from the Social Security Administration to the Treasury and then through the Federal Reserve's network to your financial institution. We also have information that talks about the safety and security of electronic payments. We also have information on how you can use your Direct Express card. And we also have a recently released video that's on the site as well that shows a typical Direct Express card holder. It's about a 3-minute video, and she goes through her typical day talking about how she uses her Direct Express card, how she pays her bills, and how she does her shopping and gets cash back. So that if you have members in your organization that perhaps are a little hesitant about electronic payments, this is a good way to spread the message about the safety and security of direct deposit or the Direct Express card. Really easy to switch to an electronic payment. It's fast, easy, and free. So these are for people that are already getting their payment by paper check. We have our own call center, the GoDirect call center at 1-800-333-1795, and that is available during business hours Monday through Friday. And you can call up and switch to either direct deposit to your bank or credit union account, or you can sign up for the Direct Express card. So at the website that I mentioned previously, godirect.org, you can, in addition to getting more information about this requirement, you can also use the website to sign up for direct deposit. What you need to know if you're switching to direct deposit or Direct Express? Well, when you make that call, it's best to have your most recent federal benefit check in hand, because you'll be asked for some identifying information by the call agent. You'll also need your Social Security number or the claim number that's associated with your benefit payment. And selecting direct deposit, you'll need your account type, whether it's a checking or savings account, your account number, and the financial institution's routing and transit number. So if you look at your checkbook, a check in your checkbook, those are the numbers that are located in the lower left-hand corner of your personal check. The first group of numbers would be the routing and transit number, and the second group of numbers are your account number. So this is all the information that you would give to the call agent for signing up for direct deposit. If you're up for the Direct Express card, then basically you need your most recent federal benefit check, again, for that identifying information. You'll also need your benefit type and your Social Security or claim number, and the agent can sign you up for the Direct Express card. I want to talk a little about the public education campaign, Go Direct. We've been raising awareness about electronic payments, as I mentioned up front, through the Go Direct campaign since 2005. It's a very partner-based campaign. It's not just the Treasury Department saying sign up for direct deposit. We give our partners information so they can in turn share that with their constituencies, and it helps reinforce our message about the safety and security of direct deposit or Direct Express. We do have media outreach and public public service announcements. We actually have a new public service announcement that is on the Go Direct site. We have actual call center agents at our Go Direct call center talking about how easy it is to sign up for direct deposit or Direct Express. We also have, and I'll talk in a few slides about materials that are available, and of course the website that I've referenced several times. So reach out through social media. We have a Twitter site that a lot of our partner organizations follow, and that's a great way for us to send information out about current things happening in the campaign. And check inserts, and that's an example there on the lower left-hand corner. We mail checks out to those remaining 5.5 million benefit recipients each month, so we insert information in with the paper check that talks about how to sign up for direct deposit or Direct Express. And as you see here in this example, it talks about how when disasters strike, we can't deliver paper checks. It just reinforces the benefits of receiving payments electronically. Areas, our primary markets are the states in blue. California, Texas, Ohio, and New York have the largest, because of population, have the largest number of remaining check recipients. We have secondary markets in the southern states, noted in green, as well as Kentucky. And then the red dots represent cities across the country that have high concentrations of check recipients. So we have sort of what's referred to as boots on the ground in these areas that are help us do the outreach to partner organizations and get the word out about direct deposit, Direct Express. So you may give information from a partner organization, or you may see a bus ad on the local transit company talking about Go Direct and the requirement, or you may receive a flyer in a Meals on Wheel delivery that talks about direct deposit or direct express, or in a local utility bill. So we really look for a wide range of avenues to get information out to check recipients. An example of our partner structure, we have more than 1,200 financial institution partners, and they're listed there at the top block. And we also reach out to financial institutions of any size. And again, the emphasis, because people are going to these institutions to deposit or negotiate these Treasury checks, so it's the perfect opportunity to relay information about signing up for direct deposit, and that's very successful. We have more than 600 community-based partners that I spoke about previously, ranging from aging organizations, disability organizations, community nonprofits, law enforcement and crime prevention, as well as other government agencies that assist us in getting the information out about Go Direct. I think my parting words to this audience, if you're not already involved with Go Direct, help us spread the word, get involved. You, as I have described, your organization is in an ideal position to spread the word and help people take action. Tell people about this change and how it will impact their lives. Share details and what they need to know to sign up for electronic payments, and really urge them not to wait. Sign up well before the March 1st, 2013 date, or even if they're applying for benefits for the first time, make sure that they're prepared when they go in to apply for those benefits to sign up for direct deposit or the direct express card. Free is always a good word. We have free Go Direct materials that are available, flyers and posters to display in your facilities and hand out to the people you serve. Letter copy and brief tips. We have prepared articles that you can customize and use in your newsletters or your website or your social media sites. We have instructional videos that I've talked about previously, as well as web banners that you can put on your website and link right over to godirect.org. So I urge you to take advantage of those opportunities. And you can contact us directly. We have a campaign representative that can answer questions you might have and help you become involved with the Go Direct campaign. And you'll see the number there and the Go Direct email. So that's all right now, I believe. Are we doing questions now, Katie, or do we hold those for the end?
We'll hold the questions for the end, so as they come in, we will direct them and open the lines back up.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Walt. We truly appreciate all the great work, and then we'll get back with you with questions near the end. So we have Janet Hamer, who is with the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta. I have known Janet for many years now, and she has worked intensely with the Bank On initiative, specifically here in Florida, but in different initiatives, I believe, around the country, and is chair of our Florida Prosperity Partnership here in Florida. And so we thank Janet for taking the time to come on today and to talk to us more about the unbanked and underbanked and different opportunities that are available out there for individuals. So with that, I am going to turn it over to you, and if you'll just cue me when you need your slides moved.
Thank you so much, Katie. I want to thank you, and I want to thank NDI because this is a really important topic. Again, my name is Janet Hamer. I am with the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta, the Community and Economic Development Division. And I want to say before I get started that this presentation does not express the views of the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta or the Federal Reserve System. It is my opinion. So let's talk for a minute about the unbanked and the challenges and opportunities of being an underbanked, and what that means for the financial stability of our families, neighborhoods, and communities. Before I go into the slides, I'm just going to set the stage by telling you some information that just came out. I don't know how many of you have seen it, but the new FDIC underbanked survey, 2011 survey is out. It's been out about a week. You can go to the FDIC website and access it. And I encourage you to do that because there's a lot of useful information and a lot of it's been updated. I cannot tell you that the number of unbanked has gone down, although I don't think that's a surprise given the economic conditions that we've faced in the last few years. But right now, nationally, in 2011, 8% of our households are unbanked, and up 0.5%. The last survey, which was in 2009. That means basically that 1 in 12 households in this country are unbanked. And we know that a lot of those unbanked households are low income. Many are households with persons with disabilities because they have a higher number of unbanked households. And in addition to the number of unbanked, 20.1% of the households in this country are underbanked, which essentially means that they do have some relationship with a financial institution, but they have also used within the last year at least once an alternative financial services provider. And I'm going to talk about alternative financial services providers in a minute. But here is a statistic that I think is really important for our purposes today. According to the FDIC survey, 29.3% of the households in this country do not have a savings account. In other words, almost 1/3 of households in the country do not have a savings account, which means what? They are not saving. They're not building their assets for the future. One of the things that we're talking about a lot now because of the economic downturn is that ability to have an emergency savings account, which is so critical to folks because of economic uncertainty. And we know that a lot of the reason why people go to pay lenders and access other alternative financial services providers is because they don't have that emergency savings account to take them over. In fact, the Confederation of America did a study a few years ago and said that an individual with only $500 in an emergency savings account is 8 times less likely to take out a payday loan, which is really a staggering statistic when you think about it. And then you look at that with the 29.3% of the households that don't have a savings account, and you know that this is absolutely critical work that we're doing to move people into the financial mainstream. So, Kate, if you would go to slide 2, please. Well, let's first talk about alternative financial services as opposed to mainstream, a relationship with a mainstream financial institution. Alternative financial services, the volume of financial services transactions totals more than $320 billion annually. And if you look at this pie chart, you'll see that the largest amount of the alternative financial services providers are buy here, pay here auto loans, check cashiers, pay loans. So, the majority of the alternative financial services. The underbanked, which again, we define the underbanked, and the underbanked are 3% of the households in this country use these check cashing outlets, money transmitters, car title lenders, pay loan stores, pawn shops, and rent-to-own stores. And unbanked also use those. So you can see that the alternative financial services providers always charge a fee. They're not deposit taking. And if you think about it, if you pay, an estimate is that you can pay anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 a year cashing your checks, your paychecks, or other checks you have. That's a significant amount of money that can be the basis to start that emergency savings account, that can start that retirement account, that can start an account for this education. So we'd go to 3, please. So let's talk a little bit about the potential benefits of successful asset building programs and how critical they are to move individuals out of their links with alternative financial services providers. Some of the potential benefits of successful building programs are that residents have access to a safe and reliable place to manage their income and potential assets. We want people to be safe. We want their money to be safe. We don't want them to have their money at home. Many people are vulnerable to a lot of scams and fraud that is happening. So with access to account with a mainstream financial institution, they have the ability to keep their money and build their assets. Benefits to financial institutions from developing a program to work with on an underbanked. Financial institutions may receive increased access to the untapped market of the underbanked. This is a really large market, as you can see from the statistics that I just told you from the 2011 FDIC survey. This is a large portion of households in our country that can benefit from a relationship with a financial institution, but also can be of benefit to a financial institution to establish that relationship, to open that checking account, to open that savings account, and then look as they establish and build their credit, be able to get consumer loans, to be able to get that well-priced auto loan, the first-time home buyers, their first mortgage. It can benefit both the financial institution and the underbanked. Also, community groups have the resources to access more asset-building opportunities for their clients. Community groups are always looking for the way to pair a relationship with a financial institution with their financial education. Opening a bank account is a financial education tool. Probably one of the most important things is that family financial stability can help foster city economic vitality. The stability of a family leads to the stability of a neighborhood. We know that children do better in school when their parents are financially secure. The neighborhoods are more secure, and cities are more secure. Cities have more economic vitality when all households, all the families in their community have the ability to build assets. And services can become a larger part of the asset building strategies. When we talk about asset building strategies and we talk about for preparation, we talk about IDA accounts, to mainstream financial services is a key component of strategy. To slide 4, please. Talk a little bit about potential approaches to banking the unbanked. And some of you are probably in communities that have a regional bank-on program, or you are probably in communities that have a prosperity campaign that also provide tax services. So there are a lot of partnership opportunities out there. And I will say now that have my contact information, so realize that people are on this webinar from various parts of the country. Feel free to contact me if you don't know about what is available in your community or your state, and I will find where you need to connect with to develop these partnerships. So partnerships are really critical to banking the unbanked and working with the underbanked. Statewide asset building coalitions. There are quite a few states, I think about 30 now, that have statewide asset building coalitions. They often they will local prosperity campaigns. They provide that critical organization to provide technical assistance to local groups undertaking asset building programs. State and municipal governments a very good resource to establish partnerships for banking the unbanked. The National League of Cities has taken on the Bank On program as a critical initiative for them. They can do an economic development program. It's good to contact your local county or city government and talk to them about asset building for the families in their communities. Faith-based organizations obviously are very important. Faith-based organizations, neighborhood nonprofits are critical to the success of any kind of asset building or any kind of asset building strategy, particularly when it comes to banking the unbanked, because community-based organizations are on the ground. They have the trust of their constituency. They work in the neighborhood. So the neighbor-based organizations have the ability to tell their clients, look, you can save money, you can build assets, and here's a bank or credit union that you can go to be able to do that. Another critical component of the SCIP is regional and local asset building coalitions and VITA sites. Of the country, there are a lot of local prosperity campaigns now that were started in response to the voluntary income tax assistance program, providing free tax preparation. And as part of that free tax preparation, most of them have looked beyond just simply repay people's taxes, but also providing financial education opportunities and also assisting people to make those choices of how to house their refunds, to open those accounts. Regional and local asset building coalitions during tax time actually have their financial institution partners, the banks and credit unions, come to the VITA sites and open bank accounts and speak to the clients that are there. All really important partnerships and components of that partnership. There are innovative solutions to reach the and underbanked individuals, including developing safe and affordable financial products. We work a lot in our asset building organizations with financial institutions to urge them to think about the needs of the underbanked, to think about such needs as small value loans, a responsible small value loan that can actually combat some of the predatory lending of the payday loans. Respond remittance products, because we know that in many parts of the country, individuals are sending money home and pay a great deal for the privilege of sending money home when they can go to a mainstream financial institution and be able to access those remittance products at a much more favorable rate. Also creating pathways and support assists targeted populations to utilize these products. It's important, particularly in the disability community, that we train financial institutions on the appropriate way to deal with persons with disabilities, because many people, and again, it's not just persons with disabilities, it's often a lot of different groups that are hesitant to use financial institutions because of past problems with the institutions. Also conducting outreach campaigns to inform the public about these opportunities. Many times it's as simple as individuals not understanding that they can open a bank account, that they may have problems in the past, but that they can access financial education and then be able to open a bank account, that they do have enough money to open a bank account. That's one of the things that we hear a lot, that, well, I don't have enough money, I can't open a bank account. And providing that financial education to be able to use that bank account appropriately. And the other innovative solution, which we've seen, we have about 65 bank-ons across the country, is the ability to create a statewide or regional bank-on coalition, which brings together financial institutions, local governments, nonprofits, to create a collaborative effort to the unbanked banked. Go to slide, please. Talking about statewide asset building organizations. Through their state network, they can bring partners together. And again, there are about 30 statewide asset building organizations throughout the country. They coordinate statewide approaches to regional and local initiatives. Local and state governments, again, elected officials can serve as champions. We have one of our, in the state of Florida, where I do most of my work, we have a city councilman in a city who went to a National League of Cities meeting and came back and said, this is what I need for my constituency. I need to be able to get them banked because the area that he served was very poor and there were a lot of alternative financial services providers, and he saw that the families in his district weren't able to accumulate assets because all of their money was going to fees. So he was a champion to start the first bank-on program in the state of Florida. Local governments can also convene stakeholders. You may not be able to do it as a nonprofit, or a community group. It goes a long way towards the mayor sending a letter saying, let's all get together and talk about, banked, citizens banked, and doing some asset building work in our community for the good of the entire community. Also use their influence to engage financial institutions and other community organizations, which is absolutely critical. All of this is about creating partnerships. Go to slide 6, please. Again, let's talk a little bit about potential roles for community organizations. They can engage residents through direct outreach and referrals. A lot of community organizations are already doing financial education and doing it very well because they know their clients, their customers. They act as the primary service provider or convener for financial education. Connect VITA participants to other opportunities, and this is something that is really absolutely critical we're coming in to get their taxes done in discussions about their financial future, about asset building, about opening that bank account, about participating in an IDA program. They're all ready to get their taxes done. It really is the opportunity to be able to do that point in time, financial education, change of behavior talk, to teach them in making some really good choices about financial future. It can also assist with data tracking. Potentials for financial institutions, and as we've said, financial institutions are absolutely critical in banking the unbanked. Financial institutions have basic savings account and checking account products that can be utilized by the underbanked. And most of the larger financial institutions in our country, the national banks and the larger credit unions, are engaged in some sort of effort in communities they serve, whether it's a bank-on program or another program, another community program to provide access to financial services. They provide the insight and expertise in development and provision of appropriate financial products. As I said earlier, it's absolutely critical to understand the financial products that our moderate income and unbanked citizens need. Participate in outreach and marketing. Have a banker at a community event is very important because, again, we know a lot of unbanked individuals concerned with the perception of how a bank views them. So if they see a banker at a community event, they're more likely to go to the branch of that bank or credit union where the banker is from and talk to them about opening an account. They also collect and track data for evaluative purposes, which is absolutely critical for the work because we need to prove that what we're doing works. You to prove it as a community-based organization to be able to attract more funders, asset building opportunities. If you would go to slide 7, please. So what can your community do? What can your organization do? What can you do? You can begin by identifying the stakeholders that are concerned with asset building in your community, that are concerned with a number of unbanked. To identify this group to begin a collaborative approach to solutions to the community's unbanked and underbanked challenges. Then decide in your community what groups are there ready or could be the champion of this issue. In many areas of the country, United Way organizations become champions of a program to access financial services. Whether it's a bank-on program or other asset-building strategies, United Way often leads the way, and it's actually part of their financial stability platform of United Way Worldwide. So United Way is a good partner to bring in, as well as other community-based organizations, financial institutions, and again, the local government. Establishing a program that addresses this issue and includes the appropriate partners. You can also contact your local Federal Reserve Community Development Program for additional information on best practices and innovative programs across the country the Federal Reserve System Community Affairs Program, of which I am part of. I'm with the Community and Economic Development Division, which is part of Community Affairs. Work with local asset building programs, bank-on programs. Again, you have my contact information, so whatever part of the country you are in, you can contact me, and I can let you know who to contact. So, resources. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is a new resource. I would encourage you to go to the website. They also have a Facebook page for those of you who are on Facebook. They've developed some really interesting tools, like a college expense tracker software, so that families can actually determine which financial aid package is the most advantageous, what is actually going to cost them to send their children to college. They have a lot of information, and are actually also going out around across the country and talking to people about what they're going to be doing. Also, the website Unbanked, which a joint project of the National League of Cities, the U.S. Treasury, and the Corporation for Enterprise Development. It's an excellent resource. Anything that you want to know to start a bank-on program in your community, region, or state is available there with a lot of best practices. You really don't need to do anything to reinvent anything. It's all there to be able to develop a bank-on program, along with contact information with people around the country who can assist you in developing a bank-on. Also, the FDIC Economic Inclusion site, and this is actually where you can access the new 2011 FDIC Underbanked survey, and other really useful information like their Safe Bank Account program. And the Center for Financial Services Innovation, which is a nonprofit organization that's worked on financial services innovation, particularly for the underbanked. We go to the last slide, please. You get a lot of information from the Atlanta Fed website. We have the Partners Update, which latest news from the Federal Reserve System, and particularly our efforts in the 6th District, which is the Southeast. And we actually have posted a Go Direct link on that website. The Human Capital Compendium, which is a collection of all resources from the Federal System on workforce development, which of course education and training and a job are critical assets. We have podcasts on economic development, foreclosure response, and other topics. You can subscribe to these on the website. So I want to thank you for your attention. Really is absolutely critical that we work on asset building and we bank the unbanked. When you consider that it costs from $1,000 to $2,000 a year for individuals to cash their at a check cashier, and over a lifetime, that's about $40,000, according to the Brookings Institution study. That's a lot of money. That's the basis for asset building. That's the basis for retirement. It's the basis for that emergency savings account. It's the basis for the savings for children's education. So it's absolutely critical that we as community-based organizations develop asset building programs and form these partnerships with financial institutions to develop to access financial services for the underbanked. And thank you, Katie.
Janet, we greatly appreciate all that wonderful information. This time, we are going to take some questions. What we're going to do is and have Walt and Janet both on the line, and go ahead. We have just a few questions, and we have a few more minutes. If you have any questions as we're going through, Please remember to send them to either Nakia Matthews or myself, Katie Metz, via the chat box, or enter your questions down in the bottom for Q&A. So first question looks like it is, what do you think that the financial institutions you refer to will be willing to increase the interest, when will they be willing to increase the interest return offered to encourage the consumer to start savings accounts? Janet?
I was trying to think about how I would answer that question. As everyone knows, the interest rate is very low now. I think that it is not an issue just with low income in terms of savings. As long as the interest rate remains low, I'm not sure that there is a solution to that. But I think that the way to approach that is that no matter how much interest you get, that savings account is absolutely critical. That money in the bank, that emergency savings, that $500, that $1,000 is absolutely critical to the well-being of families, that when they hit the bump in the road, when transmission breaks, that instead of going to the payday lender, they have that money in the bank to be able to get that transmission fixed and be able to go to work. So that's kind of the way that I would approach it.
Great. Thank you, Janet. Now I have a question, it looks like, for Walt. What happens if a recipient does not sign up before the scheduled deadline? They mean for Go Direct.
If they don't sign up by March 1st, 2013, we won't interrupt the payment. However, we're sort of going into a compliance mode at that point. So we'll be communicating with the check recipient and talking about options for switching over to direct deposit or direct express.
Thank you. Our next question, again, VITA program, VITA Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, we've supported Go Direct for several years, encouraging taxpayers to consider the Direct Express card. We've been hopeful that the card would accept tax refunds, but apparently it still will not. How come?
We haven't. We've done analysis where looked at existing Direct Express card holders and those that have received or received tax refunds, and it's very low. So we haven't really gone down that route yet. We are looking at probably in the coming tax season to perhaps do a pilot where if you're already a Direct Express card holder and you happen to receive a tax refund, you can also get it on the card. But initially, our focus was just on getting benefit payments on the card.
Well, another question is, where do I find the in-network ATM within my zip code?
Where do you find? If you to usdirectexpress.com, I forget what slide it is, at the bottom of that website, there's something called ATM Locator, and if you click on that, you simply type in your zip code, and a map will come or a listing of all the in-network ATMs within a certain radius of your zip code.
Wonderful. Thank you. And just for those that are listening, Nakia just sent out that direct link, usdirectexpress.com, through that window to all our participants. I don't have any other questions right now. We are coming close to our time ending. I do want to remind everyone that the PowerPoint referenced in today's webinar, along with the recording, will be available on the website after today, and that's www.realeconomicimpact.org. I'd really like to thank Walt and Janet for presenting today. It's such a important topic for everyone as we move forward with the deadline approaching for Go Direct and the initiatives with Bank On. So I encourage you to reach out to our presenters, reach out to our staff at the National Disability Institute if you have any questions or if you want further follow-up on, how do you become involved with either of the campaigns. I know, Walt, you guys are always looking for individuals or agencies to get the word out about Go Direct. So I'm sure that you would encourage them to contact you guys on partnerships on that level. Same with it. If you have questions about bank-on initiatives in your area of the country and you want more information on either how to get one started or find a local bank-on in your area, contact one of us and we'd be happy to do so. Janet, Walt, did you have any last remarks that you'd like to add?
No, just this is Walt. Just thanks again for the opportunity. And yes, we're always looking for partner opportunities. So you have the information on the final slide of my presentation. Reach out to us and take advantage of all the resources we have.
Real quick, I have you. We did have one other question that just came in that says, for direct clients, ITIN numbers, could they apply for the card?
I don't know what ITIN number is, so maybe
vacation numbers issued. I believe that's for the non-citizens. Is that right, Janet?
Yeah, it's ITIN is individual tax identification number.
Probably to follow up. I don't know off the top of my head. I believe you have to have a social, but I can follow up.
Okay, Jewel, that did ask that question. If you want to email me at kmetz@ndi-inc.org, you read that email when you receive the invitation. We'll get a question to Walt, and then we'll get you an answer. How's that? Sounds good. And another question that came in, are there any accommodations for rural areas lack ATMs?
If rural area and there aren't ATMs, you can go to any financial institution that displays the MasterCard logo. And that's usually most financial institutions, and you can withdraw cash at the teller free of charge.
Thank you so much. That's all our questions. Janet, did you have anything final to add as well?
No, I'd like to thank you for giving us the opportunity to present this really critical issue. And again, everyone has my contact information. It's on the slide. If you need some information about who in your area is doing building activities, maybe promoting bank on, then please feel free to contact me and I will direct you to the appropriate person.
Thanks so much to Janet and Walt, who are national experts on these areas. I can't thank you enough for coming on and giving us this information today. We'd like to thank our sponsors once again, the National Disabilities Institute's Real Economic Impact Tour. And, of course, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook, YouTube. Again, once more, this webinar will be recorded and posted along with both presentations on our website at realeconomicimpact.org. And you, of course, can contact myself or either of the presenters at any time, and we'd be happy to answer questions. Thank you again, and we appreciate it. Look forward to our invitation for our October webinar, which will be coming up shortly. In the meantime, if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to us. And I thank you, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you again.